Seems like I got nothing to do. Hit up Sim Standard Radio. I'm listening to one of the top podcasts, and they bringing you the real. And when they talk sports, it feels like you on the field. From real talk to real sports, from Madden to 2K. Just listen for one day, they'll grab you and you say it's on the net, man. Turn off your stereo, not music. I mess with Sim Standard Radio.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? This is Smitty here. I don't know if Sim's having some technical difficulties or not. Can't exactly hear him at the moment. Okay, there he is.
Yeah.
What's going on? Welcome to Sim Standard Radio. You know what I'm saying? Having some technical issues here and there, but, you know, we on. We live Thursday night. It's on and popping.
Yeah, man. Ready to do another show, man. And this show will be an interesting show in terms of production. You know, we are guys, we have family, we have things going on. So just to let you guys know, man, Azure Effect probably won't be able to make the show. He has some personal things he has to take care of, as well as, you know, Smitty will be off and on the show. He has some things going on as well. So he may drop out for a moment, you know, right about maybe around 8:30 or so, but then he'll be back on when he can. So it may be a point in time where it's just me. And that's cool, you know, because we're going to heavily depend on you guys, the callers, to call in. We may get you in a little earlier, you know, so we can attack the topics and answer your questions and things like that. But we're definitely going to jump into the topics a little sooner. You know, first and foremost, we'll just check with Smitty and see how he's doing out there. What's going on, Smitty?
Nothing much, man. You know what I'm saying? I know with the NFL free agency popping off and everything, you know, Stu left as everything was expected, you know, and I mean, at the end of the day, we appreciate the years of service that he brought, you know, to Detroit. I mean, obviously he was drafted, but, you know, we can't put so much money just splitting it between three players like that, you know what I'm saying, when there's other gaps, you know, like there are gaps that we need to fill as well. So, but making a move and getting, you know, Haloti Ngata, you know what I'm saying, that's definitely a real nice move right there. So I definitely can't get mad at that. I mean, he's not Ndamukong Suh, but nevertheless, though, it's not like Ngata's a punk either. So, you know, so that's a nice one, you know, and we could probably draft a piece, you know what I mean. There's some draft prospects that, you know, Caldwell and the staff looking at. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see what they do with that first pick, you know, based off of who we're able to, you know, get off of free agency, because I guess Fairley's gone, and understandably so. I mean, half the time he was here, he was hurt. So I can't really see investing big money, you know, in a guy that only basically played half his tenure due to injury. So, you know, but when he is healthy, he's a nasty player, but you know, we can't bank a whole bunch of money in somebody that, you know, that's going to be halfway, you know, at least so far, has only been partially reliable. So, you know, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm looking forward to see what moves Caldwell makes, you know, especially when it comes to the draft, like what kind of pieces we focus on when it comes to who we pick up. So, you know, a lot of complimentary pieces, you know, Jeremy Ross, Del Tapp, George Johnson, you know, like these are all guys that, you know, we're bringing into the fold, re-signing and everything, you know, sign Matt Prater, you know what I'm saying? We'll see. You know, like I say, you know, we'll see what happens. Even Kellen Moore, like, dude didn't even play a snap, and they gave him a deal, you know what I'm saying, to stay here. So, hey, you know, like I said, we'll see what happens. But all in all, though, you know, just enjoying this free, you know, watching these moves being made out here, man.
Yeah, man, it's been very interesting, and guys, you know, that's going to be one of our main topics. You know, we're going to get into just kind of talk about the free agency moves, you know, the good, the bad, you know, what's interesting, talk about Chip Kelly a little bit, you know, find out whether or not we think he's a genius or an idiot. One, you know, we definitely want to discuss that, because I know the perception of Chip Kelly has definitely changed over the last 48 hours. I mean, it's been up, it has been down, it's been back up. So we'll get into that. And definitely, you know, we want to talk a little bit about the community and the community members' comprehension And what we kind of mean by that, man, is, just ask a few questions and we'll toss them around and discuss them. But, do community members pay attention to what's really going on? Do they really realize what we're trying to do, as far as us guys here at the Sim Standard, other community members as well that are pushing the movement, and do they really understand what we do it for? That's key, because, you see a lot of stuff out there, man. We have thick skin, how we roll, but you just see a lot of things where people are, it's more like, instead of being upset or mad with these people, because it's not personal, I look at it almost like, dang, you really don't get it. Like, do you not understand what we're doing? Instead of, you focusing on being mad or saying that, we are defending guys and we're doing this and we're doing that, like, you really are not seeing what's happening. So we're going to dive into that topic. And definitely, man, we want to talk a little bit about Madden, of course, and games in general, try to show how it's so easy to point out flaws in games. It's very easy to point out flaws in these games and label them as broken or just, downright flawed games when you're doing breakdown videos. We've actually been victims of doing that in the past as well. It doesn't take much. So we'll definitely get into those topics. And like I said, maybe a period of time where Smitty has to step away for a moment. But we'll make it work. We'll definitely be here for you guys, and this is what we do. So anyway, man, let's go ahead and get started a little bit. I know, you might have to cut out in a moment, so we want to go ahead and try to jump into some of these topics before you go. But, just to pick up where you left off with free agency, man, like, I don't even know where to begin. I guess we got to talk about Chip Kelly. I'm looking at this guy. It starts with Trent Cole. And I'm like, okay, I kind of see you letting him go. He's an older guy. But then I was like, this dude was probably one of your best defenders this past season. He held that defense together, so I wasn't really sure why he let him go. But I was like, okay, I understand it. It's a business. But then the LaShawn McCoy trade, I'm like, what? A trade, not letting him go, not saying we're going to cut you, which would have been crazy, but just a straight-up trade. For I forgot how to pronounce this guy's name, so I'm just gonna call him Alonzo. I forgot his first name or last name or whatever, but you guys know the linebacker that he got traded for, which was an Oregon player, I believe. I really didn't understand that. Thinking about the type of offense Chip Kelly wants to run, I understand, LaShawn McCoy, he didn't have the best season last year, but he's still the guy. You need a shifty guy like that in a single back type of offense or those crazy formations that they run. He's perfect for it. Look what he did in the first season when they ran that. Had, his best career as far as rushing. The best stats he's had in his career. So I really didn't understand that one. Then they turn around and let Jeremy Maclin go. I'm like, okay, now you're getting a little crazy. Because let's not forget, last year, Deshaun Jackson goes. So I look at it not just at this year. I look at all the pieces that are gone. Jackson, Maclin, McCoy, and then the big one. You trade Nick Foles, which everybody knows I'm not a huge fan of Nick Foles as far as thinking he's a savior. But the guy is pretty decent. He proved me wrong in that system. But you trade this guy for beat up Bradford. This dude has had 2 ACL injuries in back-to-back seasons. And this is the guy that you want to run your up-tempo offense. And there's times where he might have to keep the ball, tuck and run. Now, we remember how funny Nick Foles looked when he did that. He's looking like, and his legs are going so slow, he's all taut. We know how crazy that looked. And to be all, in all fairness to him, he probably at this point runs it a little better than Sam Bradford. This one really threw me for a loop. So then let's look at something that didn't happen. They were thinking about getting Frank Gore. Frank Gore was on his way there. Now, I love Frank Gore. He's a hard-nosed guy, very productive. But I personally didn't really see him fitting in that particular, system. Not saying he couldn't do it, but once again, we're talking about up-tempo. This is an older guy. This is a guy that didn't stay on the field all the time this year in San Francisco. And some could say, well, it's a similar type of offense because, he's used to a mobile quarterback and Kaepernick. Yeah, but I'm talking about the up-tempo part of it. That didn't make sense to me if Frank Gore would have went there. So Frank Gore pulls out. He goes to a place where I think he's definitely going to do well and definitely they need the help over in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So then today, what do we find out? Well, we knew Ryan Matthews was looking at going over there, which, again, there's the injury bug again. Here's another guy that doesn't really stay healthy. You're bringing him into Philadelphia to replace LaShawn McCoy. But then he drops the bomb on us. DeMarco Murray signed with Philadelphia. Wow. That is crazy. So now it kind of makes a little sense, and I'm going to call the cops, and I hate to be a snitch, but I'm going to have to ask them to investigate what exactly Chip Kelly is doing. How did he have that inside information? How did he know he was going to be able to get the two ex-teammates from college to come back and run an offense together again? How did he know this? It seemed like he was very strategic in that. I mean, I could be wrong, but how did he possibly know that? Let me get Sam Bradford because we're going to get DeMarco Murray. And they ran not the exact same offense, but they ran somewhat of a spread type. They're used to running that kind of offense, somewhat. How did he know he was going to be able to put this together? Somebody needs to do an investigation. And that's just Chip Kelly. I mean, we got a lot more to talk about in regards to free agency, but I got to hear your thoughts on that whole thing, Smitty. Like, how do you feel, or how did you feel in general these last, I guess, let's say 72 hours, looking at what Chip Kelly is doing over there in Philly?
Well, I mean, he's trying to make an Oregon-type, offense. There's no doubt. You know what I'm saying? I've seen the memes and everything from switching up the mascot from the Eagles to an Oregon mascot. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I find it very interesting to see what's going on here with these moves. And, I mean, it really, the impact, I mean, of course the move, like, first, why would you trade Foles for Bradford? That's a big question mark. Like, this must be it kind of reminds me of that movie Moneyball, if you've seen that. And it's like you make moves that are like, why is he making that move? Why is he getting him when he can get this guy or keep the guy he already has? Why make those kind of, adjustments? So, like you said, maybe there's something he sees. Maybe there's some kind of intangible that people aren't, that we just don't know. Like, that's just not on the surface that he believes that he has, that Bradford just has. You know what I'm saying? So that's what really throws things off for me. Like, I really am, at a loss. So what I'll say, though, is, no doubt that the Cowboys have definitely took a few steps back. They got knocked down a few pegs losing Murray, you know what I'm saying, from the way it sounds. I mean, that's definitely huge. But, I mean, overall, though, Chip Kelly, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, because like we was talking about this earlier, before the show, that dynamic of the NFL being such a dynamically chaotic sport, it's hard to say what can and cannot happen. Like we're looking at past transactions. Right now we're saying, Nick Foles is a great QB, yeah, or he's a solid Q. We're saying that based off of the one great year he had and then the decent, the semi-decent year he had the following. So we don't know. Bradford can come back even with these injuries, and he could come out and he can go ham just like Foles did out the gate. You know what I'm saying? And get, ridiculous amount of touchdowns with this offense. Like, we don't know. But the thing is, it's all going to come down to Chip. You know, and whatever he got cooking up in his head or whatever scheme he got going on, it's going to be interesting. Like, there's no doubt about that with the pieces that he has. And, I mean, what's he going to add to it? Because, I mean, you let go, like you say, you let go of Macklin and Cole like that, and McCoy as well. I mean, you let go of key pieces to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you bring in Murray is really the only truly named piece. So it's like, that's what I said, like, this is like a money ball situation where you're going to bring in some guys that you're looking at the value from a whole different perspective than what any other analyst may be looking at. So that's how I take it. But, I mean, overall, but beyond that, though, the overall scheme of things with the, you know, the signings and the deals and the moves being made, not really too shocked. I mean, in terms of the marquee players, you know, not really too shocked. Other than, like I said, outside of the McCoy deal and even the Murray going to the Eagles, that's really the only thing that really, like, had me really blown away. Like, oh, snap, he's going here? Oh, he's making that deal? Like, otherwise, I'm not really, you know, shaken up by any moves. Not on the deep level, at least for like the more known players. So, you know, from here, that's what I'm saying. From here, you know, it's just a matter of, okay, you know, a decent piece goes here, a decent guy goes there. There may be a trade somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Like, there may be another good trade that'll be out there. So we'll see what happens. But overall, though, it has been interesting. I mean, this is the time of the year that, you know, we look forward to. And I see the NFL making that effort to extend, you know, the life of the NFL season, because we got the free agency period now. We just had the combine not too long ago, and then, you know, the draft is going to be in May. So, you know, when usually it would be, you know, we would have it in April. So that's what it's like. You know, I see where they're, you know, what they're doing, and this helps keep that NFL buzz going and keep it going, you know, all year round. So that's why I do appreciate that, because it sucks to have a straight-up dry spell just where you're cutting on NFL Network or SportsCenter and all you're able to watch is just classic games or top 10 countdowns, and that's it. So.
Yeah, man, I love it too, man. I mean, it's just and let me say this before I continue. Steelers fans, guys, real Steelers fans, I'm not talking to you guys, but I'm talking about those, and I'm not just going to say Steelers. It happens with other teams as well. People are fans, but they're not real fans because they don't seem to understand the philosophy of their team. Calm down just a little bit, Steelers, so-called fans. We don't pick up big-time free agents. We don't do it. We've never done it, really. Think about it. You know, I know in my era of watching the Steelers, I can't never recall us, you know, grabbing them. And I could be wrong. You know, it could be, you know, I could be slipping my mind a little bit, but I can't recall us actually getting a marquee free agency guy. Now, we picked up guys in free agency that turned out to be good players. Yes, that's what we do. That's what we've always done, and we build through the draft. So settle down a little bit. I mean, I've seen people out here saying, why won't they make a push for this guy? Why won't they make a push for that guy? Like the whole Revis thing. And the funny thing about Revis, they did actually talk to Revis. But in normal Pittsburgh fashion, they weren't trying to pay that much money. The meeting wasn't that long. It's like, he's asking for too much. We thought we'd give it a try. Maybe he want to come back home, you know, and play in Pittsburgh, because that's where he did his college bid or what have you. But God, just settle down a little bit. But it's been interesting, man, watching. I mean, it's a lot of moves out there. And I'm definitely going to revisit some more of the Eagles stuff, but not to stay focused on them. You know, even looking at Revis and Cromartie back together in New York, that's crazy. That is crazy. They back with the Jets. Now, it kind of sucks, though, that Rex is not there since, you know, to me it seems like Rex Ryan was the guy that you know, he was the motor of that defense when they was there, clearly. But I think, you know, what's the guy's name, Bowles, I think he'll do a great job. You know, he's a defensive mind. So we'll see how that plays out as far as him being a head coach. Well, there's a lot of other little stuff, man, that caught my eye. You know, guys like, what's his name, Dwayne Bowe being released. You know, some people were shocked. I wasn't too shocked because if you guys remember last year, Kansas City Chiefs, I believe they went the whole season, or if not the whole season, at least until like week 16, 17. The receivers didn't have a touchdown. No surprise there. Somebody's got to get cut. And if it's the biggest name you got, and he's on a contract year or whatever the case may be, see you later. And Smitty, I want to thank you guys in Detroit for taking Nata up out of the AFC North. You know, I want to personally thank you for that because he has been quite a terror for the Steelers in his tenure. I like him. I really like his style of play. But I really can, go out on a limb and say we're not going to miss him twice a year. Not at all. I'll look at him from afar. We really thank you for taking that guy off our hands because that dude is a beast, man. And more than people think, like you said, he's not Sue. They're not the exact same player, but he's going to do his thing out there, man, in that system. I don't think. I want to be careful when I say this because then, people are going to accuse me for saying he's as good as Sue or vice versa or whatever. I don't think you might not miss too much in terms of like the run D and all that with him being there. Because he's a high motor guy too. But let me think. There's some other moves out there, man, I wanted to discuss. I'm trying to remember. Slipping my mind right now, man. I had all this stuff ready for the show. But there's been some interesting things out there, man. Like that guy from Raheem Moore, him going down to the Texans. They definitely need that. Trent Richardson being cut. And to be quite honest, man, that might be the end of his career, man. Somebody might pick him up, but I don't know, man. I think the Trent Richardson bus, people ain't really on that bus no more. He hasn't shown. You just think about it. He really hasn't shown anything in his time in the league. He did okay in Cleveland, and I don't know if him being traded from Cleveland, if that hurt him mentally. But when he got over to the Colts, man, he didn't do nothing. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Here's another thing about Philly. They got them a much-needed cornerback. You got Byron Maxwell out there. Now, this is going to be a classic matchup, guys. You NFC East fans, you better believe when they play Dallas, that's who's going to be on Dez Bryant because I'm pretty sure that he's going to replace that guy Fletcher. That Dez Bryant torched 3 straight touchdowns on him in man-to-man coverage. So that's going to be interesting. So, Philly, I'm going to tell you, man, Philadelphia is one of those teams that, I don't root for them, but I kind of pull for them in the NFC only because, there's another PA team. They're going to be a problem, man, because I think Chip Kelly has proven that his system can work. And if he gets the right pieces and he gets it going the way he wants it to go, it's going to be very interesting. So we'll see, man. But guys, it looks like Smitty has to take his break right now, so he'll be back shortly. So I'm definitely going to fly this ship solo. Have no problem doing that. And talk a little bit more about some of the moves that I thought was interesting in free agency. And also what we'll do is shake it up a little bit, man. Some of you guys who are on the line, if you want to go ahead and press 1 now, we'll bring you in earlier. Kind of flip the show a little bit and get you in earlier to help me out. So I know I see 205 is in the queue, 757 is in the queue. If you want to come in now and do your segment, we'll go ahead and get you in. We got 219 in the queue. And we also have 573. And it looks like you guys are definitely listening. I appreciate that. All of you pretty much have pressed 1. So let's go ahead and get 757 in first. Allow him to do his segment and let him comment on anything he wants to talk about tonight. After that, I see we have 573. And then we'll bring in 219. All right, 757, man. We got you in live. Appreciate you coming in early. What's going on, man?
What's going on, big dog?
Ain't nothing, man. Just trying to hold it down.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of moves being made. Chip, the Eagles are interesting. Chip wants to run a very high-paced offense. My best friend lives in Philly, so we talk a lot about the Eagles. And one of the biggest things that I don't think a lot of people know was it was a rumor in Philadelphia that McCoy had a bad knee. And the guys knew about that bad knee. I said he really ain't but one cut away from really potentially hurting himself. And Chip didn't want to invest so much of that time into him and him potentially get hurt. So it was best to trade him now rather than keep him there and then potentially losing him and having that whole situation go the way that he didn't want it to go based on McCoy getting hurt. He just didn't want to risk it. That's what was told to me. Now with him getting those two backs, Chip is going to tell them one thing. You go as hard as you can when you get the ball and the next guy come in. Chip he's going to run a lot of two-back formation. I think people don't realize that both of those backs also are pretty good run blockers. I don't think that people realize that. Both of those boys pick up the blitz pretty well. He's going to have formations where he'll have both of those backs in there. He's going to swing them out wide, make those linebackers get out of there to cover those two backs and run a lot of seam and crossing route to try to free up those receivers. I don't know what he's going to do at receiver. I think he still has to draft one. And the only question mark that I think a lot of people has is Bradford, but his offensive coordinator is Bradford's old offensive coordinator at Oklahoma. It all kind of ties in there together. People also forget that before Bradford got hurt, he was also the Rookie of the Year and threw for 4,000 yards. So they know that the kid can play. I just don't understand with him not being the most mobile quarterback. Why would they pick him up? I still think that Chip he still has something that he wants to do. I still think that he wants Mariota. Now, how he's going to go about getting this kid, I have no idea. But I still think he has one more trick up his sleeve trying to get this kid. I really, truly do. Now, what they're going to have to do to get him, I have no idea. But I think if he gets past the first 5 picks in the draft, where most of those teams need is a quarterback, but they have so many other needs in other positions, that he might actually slip to about 5, anywhere from 5 to 8. And I think if he slips anywhere between that point, that Chip's going to be on the table pounding on it to get his guy. Now, what they're going to have to do in order to draft him and to move up, they're going to have to give up a few pieces. When I look at some of the other draft picks, other the free agent moves, like the cornerback, man, that dude is a genius. For him to have created Revis Allen in the Jets and played the way that he played, went to Tampa, right? They play off man, which is not him. He's a press man-to-man corner. Tampa didn't adjust their defense for him like most teams do. They let him get on their best player and said, we'll work our scheme around everybody else. And for him to receive, we're going to say about 10 or 15 out of Tampa for that year, and then be able to go to New England and get a Super Bowl, and then go back to the Jets and be the highest-paid defensive back, the highest-paid defensive player ever, it's crazy. It's the marketing. He needs to teach a class of how he maximized his ability to maximizing no more than 2-year contract with an option. It's been brilliant. And for him to go back now and finish his career with the Jets, it's been an unbelievable situation. I think it's a marketing genius situation, and him have to be able to go back, and him and Cromartie to be back in the Jets. And I don't think people realize how good of a defensive coordinator that head coach is. They're not going to miss much with Rex being gone and that defensive coordinator being there, because I think people don't realize how many players got hurt or injured with Arizona, and they still was in the top 5 in defense. The guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Now, I think Dallas is going to miss DeMarco Murray, again, in pass blocking. DeMarco Murray was a very good. He picked up the blitzes. He picked up the outside defensive ends pretty well to give Romo time. I worry about that for Dallas and the fact that rookies are new guys coming in. That's the one problem that most young running backs have is picking up the blitz. They all can run, but when they got to pick up that zone blitz, it's usually very hard for them. That's why a lot of those guys, you know, they bring them along real slow, not because they can't run. It's because they can't pick up the freaking blitz. And that's what they need. Yeah. You know, Romo is one hard hit from being done. He really is. He can't take very many more blows. I thought that Dallas would try to work a deal out for Murray, but at the end of the day, Murray is an older running back. Running backs aren't as valued as they used to be, and he has the opportunity to get a pretty good check, a pretty good payday with the Eagles, and then potentially, you know, make a run for that thing. It's a sad day for us San Francisco fans. Yeah, I played in the league, but I've always had a special place in my heart for the 49ers. And losing Patrick Willis,
oh man,
is a mighty blow. It hurts. You know, for us, we watched football before. I'm gonna finish up. We watched football before social media, and it's just amazing the social media aspect that fans are able to play in with their teams. Could you imagine social media when San Francisco got rid of Joe? It'd have been mass hysteria, man. You know, when they got rid of Ronnie Lott, Jerry Rice got traded to the Raiders. You know, it's interesting to me to watch, you know, the fans be able to voice their opinion through social media. And I said, man, this is nothing new. The league does this. The league goes through a 10 to 15-year transition. It happens. Every 10 to 15 years, the elite players get older and they have to get ready to get out to transition the new guys in. It's just happening before our eyes in a situation now where social media is live and people are really upset with a lot of the moves that teams are making, but I'm looking like this isn't new. The league is going through a transition with coaches, transition with players. Ray Lewis is gone. Peyton Manning is on his way out the door. Brady's on his way out the door. These guys who have been iconic, you know, to the league is no different than Joe, no different than Dan Marino, no different than Tony Dorsett or any of these great players that then came through the league. And, you know, Father Time is real. And it's it's that point. I just hate it for my San Francisco 49ers because everybody has to realize in the National Football League, your whole thing is you got a 5-year window to win a Super Bowl. You get as much talent as you can, you make your run, and you try to get it. So you can say whatever you want to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers, but when they had a really good team, they won it. Green Bay, when it was their turn, they won it. That's why Dallas is pushing the way that they push it, because their window is running out. San Francisco window is closing. We got 2 more years. We don't get it then. We can't afford to bring everybody back. No matter what goes on in Seattle, they've already won the Super Bowl 3 more years earlier than what they were supposed to. So anything at this point is a bonus. Same thing with New England. He's been able to sustain, you know, wins and Super Bowls, but, you know, that head coach is just heads above majority of those coaches, his staff and the way he calls plays offensively and defensively. He got it all figured out. I didn't get a chance to talk last week, Big Dog, about this whole Joe Montana thing, and I listened to the archive of it. I missed that. You know, I was at the office kind of late. It's a power move, man. Everybody knows that the Xbox One isn't outselling the PlayStation. If they can do an exclusive deal with the Xbox One, and this game is a home run, they have potentially the biggest sport in the world, in the U.S. anyway, is football. Now, for you to be able to create an exclusive game on Microsoft and be able to not allow that game to go anywhere else, your sales are going to go up. Because whether we want to believe it or not, a lot of guys play sports games. And I hate to have to pay $400 for a system for 1 or 2 games, but If the game is unbelievable, I hate to say that I wouldn't purchase it. I will.
We're going to do it.
The thing is,
we're going to do it.
The thing, yeah, we got to do it, big dog. The thing that is ironic in this whole thing is that I don't think that people realize that there are no secrets between EA and 2K. There are whistleblowers in every system. There is somebody in EA that knows and talks to people at 2K and vice versa. Now, did Madden EA know this game was coming out? I think they knew they had something in the works. Now, the question is, what is EA going to do if this game comes out and it's what everybody's saying it is? I don't know if the guy's telling the truth or not. But my question is, why make up a story like that? For what? What would be the purpose of him putting all this information out? He can never say anything ever again if it's what he's saying isn't true. And I hope that this guy wouldn't stake his reputation on a lie. It's interesting, big dog, to see everything that's taking place and what's going on. And I just hope that EA does what they're supposed to do as far as creating a next-gen football game that we want. Because it appears to seem that Joe's coming, man. I don't think it was hard for him to get the license. It's Joe Montana. All this thing is synchronized. He's one of the best players to ever play in the National Football League. He best believes he has a relationship with the National Football League. It was perfect. And if 2K can be a part of this, right, and kind of thumb up EA without directly having to have this battle, because I don't think 2K wanted a battle. Who has a better football game, 2K or EA? I don't think they wanted to do all that. But for us to be able to be a part of something and not be our name directly on it and still help guide this ship, if they're a part of this, it was a masterful chess move by 2K. It is. And I just hope that EA is ready if this game is what it's supposed to be. I'm looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to Joe Montana when it comes out. If it comes out, I'm looking forward to what Madden has in 16. I know y'all guys are a little excited. You can't tell us. Y'all can't tell us. But I know y'all know some things. And I think that y'all are – I believe that you guys know that 16 is a whole lot better than 15. And I know y'all guys can't say nothing about it or talk about it, but I think that y'all guys are a little excited about what EA is hopefully doing with 16, and I hope they are, man. And I hope that Joe Montana is unbelievable, and I hope that EA is an unbelievable game, too, because at the end of the day, we ain't going to lose. Somebody is going to emerge as the number one football game. And whatever that game may be, we're going to be excited to play it. I hope we can do everything close to a lot of things that we see on Sunday, whether it's class blocking, whether it's every aspect of football, man. We know what needs to be put in these games at this point. We didn't beat that horse to death. Big dog, man, y'all keep doing what you're doing. I love the show. I love the push. I love the movement. And I'm just looking forward to chatting it up with y'all guys and, watching this football season and playing a great game, whoever it is. I appreciate your time and allowing me to talk on the show.
Man, it's never a problem, man. And we appreciate you just the same, man. And it's funny, what you kind of said, or basically just what you say every week will lead into one of the topics we have tonight about community comprehension. I mean, just listening to what you just said, like, I know you guys know something, or even the whole power move thing with Xbox, this is what we're trying to say, man. If you just take a moment and pay attention to what's going on, you might learn something. You might learn something. We're not doing this for no reason. We're doing it for you guys in the community. We could just be very selfish, don't have no show, get off of YouTube, and just roll with it like that and just know. But listen to what 757 said. You mean to tell me that these companies don't know what each other is doing some kind of way? Somebody knows something. And what I will comment on as to what he said, and this is all I'm going to say, I hate the fact that I have to give you the cliffhanger, but I love the fact that I can at least try to give some kind of information. Remember when I said this could very well be the first time in a long time that we got two good football games? That's something that we all need to think about. It could happen. That's all I can say. But just listen to what I'm telling you. This could be the year. So we'll leave it at that. But we got Smitty back now, man. I'm glad we have him for however long we do. Since we took phone calls, earlier while Smitty was out, I guess it's only right. Go ahead and just keep that going. We can kind of flip the show around a little bit tonight. You cool with that, Smitty?
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'll be on for the remainder of the show, so I ain't, everything be cool from here on out. But no, that's what's up.
All right. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that, man, and then we'll come back and hit some more of the topics. We'll finish talking about free agency and the community comprehension and a few more things, because there's definitely some more stuff I want to cover in terms of free agency. I forgot some of the biggest news, like Jimmy Graham. How crazy is that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and grab these guys, man, get them in. So we got you 573. We're going to bring you in first, then 219, then 205. 573, we got you in live, man. How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. What's up?
Good. Nothing much. What's up with you, man?
All right, I just wanted to say first I'm a Rams fan, and I'm hype about this trade. Like this Nick Foles thing.
Yeah. Got a good QB out of it. So.
And I always thought Bradford had a lot of potential, but I don't even know if he can play right now, because after having 2 knee surgeries, that would be hard to come back,
Absolutely. especially in the type of system that Chip Kelly runs. It would be very interesting to see how he holds up.
Yes. But I wrote a little thing I wrote down about Joe Montana and Madden, and I'm going to read it, all right?
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
All right. I just wanted to get on here and say I can't wait for Joe Montana if it's true, which it seems like it is. I've been through the online and Ultimate Team modes of Madden since 12. I get tired of trying to find out exploits into the game instead of learning football concepts. To win in Madden, you have to face catch, send nano blitzes, and do other exploits. I have played Ultimate Team and been in the top 100. I know what it's like. I love Ultimate Team and will probably play it for a long time, but I get bored of not having to outthink your opponent and just throw drag routes and send nano blitzes. Pretty much, I want to make this game harder to where you have to have a variety of plays to trick the defense or offense, not just strong power, because in real football, I don't see my Rams run the ball to the same side, the same blocking scheme, and the opponent cannot do anything because of how glitchy the play is. I've done this, and I've made it to the top 100, but I'm done. I want Joe Montana to hopefully have people in a different mindset. And if they do try to do this, they can't break the AI or glitch their way to victory. I recently picked up All-Pro Football 2K8. This game makes me think about what I see my Rams do in real life, and even if I use these concepts, they might not go in my favor. All-Pro Football games are not shootouts, and my favorite part about All-Pro Football is when the CPU runs, man, I can't do drag routes or out routes every time. They might actually run man coverage and bump me or knock off timing and certain things. Anyway, I'm excited about this new football game, Joe Montana 16. So that's what I have.
Definitely appreciate that. And before you go, do you mind me asking? Do you mind stating how old you are?
I am 12 years old.
12.
All right. Yeah. And the reason why I asked that, because that's very important, and I'll explain it in just a minute, but we definitely appreciate your call. Feel free to give us a call back any other time, and we absolutely agree. We're looking for a bigger and better, just bigger and better football game. Hopefully we can get some competition, but, and I'll definitely let Smitty give his piece, but I feel like it was important for me to ask how old he was. This is a 12-year-old, people. 12 years old, and he's saying that he wants a football game that teaches him football, where he has to use football concepts. He's played Madden, and he's tired of being able to glitch the system and things like that. He wants to be able to play, and I even caught in there that he also would prefer Madden to improve as well. You know, he didn't come out and just say that, but you can hear that's what he was saying. He wants the game to be harder and be better and be more like what he experiences with 2K8. 12 years old, people. And the reason why I want to point that out is because Azul Effect will be very proud. I know he will be proud when he listens to this archive. He always says that you cannot substitute football. The game needs to teach people how to play football, and and stop allowing people to just do what they want to do to try to please more than one crowd. Just produce football. This is what we preach to the devs all the time, and they know. Like I said, it's redundant for me to keep saying this, but the devs know. I will continue to tell you, they want that game. But this just goes to show you, man, you don't have to try to cater to specific crowds. Just make football. And even a 12-year-old can clearly see what he's playing and enjoy the game. That's a great, man. That's probably one of my favorite calls since we've been doing the show. What you got on that, Smitty?
No, I agree with everything that, that little man was saying. Madden 15 just got into truly conceptualizing aspects of football. So it's going to be rough. It's not going to have it all, and I know people say that's excusing it, but that's realistic in terms of game development. Like that's realistic. Because we've got to remember, Madden has been exploited for years. And with so many people buying Madden over the years, it's going to always be exploitable. That's just the name of the game. It's just the lay of the land. But now this is the one thing. Now this is not stealing the kid's shine. This is once again the reality, because at times people do not like to hear the reality about the situation. The reality is you can exploit APF the exact same way you can do Madden. I'm not saying the exact same plays may work per se, but you can exploit both games. What do you think people did online with APF when the online scene was a lot more thriving on APF back then? They exploited the game. They did the same stuff we hate in Madden. They did it on APF. But the thing is, nobody really talked about it. Only a small number of people would actually say something about that. So that game got exploited too. And this was something we spoke about a long time ago, but what if APF was being made right now and you had tournaments that were being played for money off of that game? You think that game would be unexploitable? No. It'd be exploitable. People will be able to exploit. That's why even Joe Montana, you think, if that game comes out, you think that game's not going to be exploitable? It's going to be exploitable too. So just like, FIFA is exploitable, PES, I'm pretty sure that's exploitable as well. Like that, these games have exploits. NBA 2K has exploits. It's just what people do from how this game is being perceived on a public level. That's the key thing. How people perceive this game on a public level. People do the same. People do with Madden. As shocking as it may be to some people, people say that FIFA is the exact same. PES is the exact same. I've seen comments go as far as PES was better on PS2 than it's ever been on next gen. See what I'm saying? So, that says a lot. You got people that say, I'd rather have MVP Baseball 05 over MLB The Show. You're talking about a game 2 generations back. People rather prefer to play over MLB The Show. So, it goes across the whole scale. You got people that say, I'd rather play NHL 2K than NHL, than the EA NHL joint. You know what I mean? So it spans across all games. It's not like that. The problem is people the people are being shown Madden as if Madden is the only one. And that's the problem in itself, because Madden is the only game, so it's always going to catch the blunt of the heat. You know what I'm saying? That's like having a pair of Nike and saying every brand of shoe you want to get can only have Nike on it. People, you're going to wear out your welcome. You see what I'm saying? Because people are going to think back. Man, I remember we had Adidas, we had Reebok, we had K-Swiss, we had Fila, we had this, we had that. Like, if you take all that away and you only have one brand, it's not, at a point, it's not going to matter what style you got. You can re-release the Jordans in the most exotic color possible. People going to be like, man, I ain't really concerned about that now. I want these T-Macs. You see what I'm saying? Or I want some Lillards, or I want some of these John Wall boys, but I can't get them. You see what I mean? So it's like, that's the lay of the land. You know what I mean? So I'm just expanding on the point my man made. Like, see, he got to play APF, and he's like, yo, I got to open up to a new experience, and I enjoy this game. And that's what we're talking about. That's why we've always said forever that we want competition out here in the marketplace. We've been saying that for ages. But we don't want Madden gone, because I don't want just one game. You know what I'm saying? I want there to be multiple games, because then the competition, the people that make Joe Montana, they can get lazy if they're the only title. So I don't want there to be just one title. I want these companies to push each other, because at the end of the day, we win. We're the consumer. We win. Whether you get one game or you choose to get both games. Because back in the day, I used to buy two, sometimes three games if they were good. I remember getting Madden, Quarterback Club, and Game Day. I would usually get those three. That was nearly a given until PS2 days, and then Game Day fell off. QB Club was okay, but Madden stood out supreme, and why do you think that happened? Because they were pushed. You know what I'm saying? They still had to come up regardless, but the thing is, they innovated accordingly. It took time, but Madden developed accordingly. So, but definitely appreciate, the young man for his insight. Love that. Yo, Sam, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Look, I gotta apologize. Yeah, I'm here, man. I gotta apologize to you guys, man. I keep going on mute, and it's funny. You can go on mute in two different places the way I have it. So I'll have one muted, and I'm looking at the one that's showing me unmuted, and I'm steadily talking and can't hear nothing. So from now on, I'm gonna just keep it off of mute. So you can hear me fine now, right?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so I was saying, man, I definitely appreciate where he was coming from. I'm very impressed with him being just 12 and being able to say that. And I was saying that we'll definitely go into that a little more when we discuss the community members' comprehension, because that's definitely a big part of it. But definitely, man, let's go ahead and grab the next call, 219, and then after that, 205, and then we'll dive back into the topic. All right, so 219, we got you in live. How you doing tonight?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for taking my call. It's been a couple of weeks. Man, I tell you what, start out with the free agent frenzy that's going on. I'm just haven't been watching as close as I usually do, but some of the big news, like the Dominican Sue thing, and I'm sorry about that, Smitty, and I'm pretty ticked off too, because I miss him clobbering the Chicago Bears. But yeah, that's a huge that's a huge loss. But you know what? I'm kind of going back. Let's go back to the Jim Schwartz days where he was drafting, and I couldn't understand this. After they desperately needed the Dominican Sue, I think he came after that big, I think the 0-16 season or something like that. They were just really, they were really poor that year. They didn't do anything, so they got him. And then, a couple of years after that, they were just, after draft, they were going after big linemen. They got Nick Fairley, Ziggy Ansah. And I can never understand the concept of always getting linemen when they desperately need a secondary, too. They only had their best guy back there, I think, at the time was like Louis Delmas or whatever at safety, and they don't even have him anymore. But now I kind of look at it, and I'm like, you know what? Even though I didn't care for Schwartz after he let the team just kind of fall apart, it was good. I'm just glad he did get those defensive linemen because shoes are big to fill. You can't really fill that spot. But I mean, somebody could slide over, and they're going to still have to draft, wisely. But I think defensive line wise, there's some, like I said, some big shoes to fill. They'll figure that out. What I like to see Detroit do is, in particular, is go after some secondary. But I think Miami, you know what? That's a big contract. That's a big plus on their defensive line. Is he worth the money? Yeah, I'd say he's worth the money. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of years. You just want to see productivity. I hope he doesn't fall into the category of, some of these guys when they sign those multi-year deals, getting all this money. Like I like to say, take a year or two off until it's almost contract time is up, and then you got to re-sign again. I wouldn't like. I hope he lives it all the way through because let's face it. I mean, it's a lot to put up there. The Revis thing, man, I was really hoping Revis would stay in New England, and I'm not a big New England guy, but I think his better chance of winning another Super Bowl there, because I think they were kind of on the cusp of just getting that defense. When they had that dynasty of winning 3, they had a hell of a defense, guys. I mean, you had the linebacker who are Ray Bruschi, Roman Pfeiffer, and you had these guys, the great, the Lawyer Malloy, Ty Law back there. I mean, they're deep to me. They were kind of like the Seattle of the time defensively. With a potent offense, and they had a good running game. Of course, you had Brady at the quarterback, but and then for the last couple of years, even though they always had winning seasons, you had good coaching and everything, but they kind of lost the defensive end of it. I'm thinking, when are they going to actually get this defense together? They were getting the secondary was questionable. The defensive line was kind of questionable at the time. The linebackers just like that. It just hasn't been the same. And their offense was kind of mediocre. Where this year, to me, the offense, again, he won with really no stud at receiver. It was just everything was flowing well. They had a solid running game, and just they toughed it through. But to me, the defensive end to me was a little bit was a lot better. Again, I liked Revis in that back in that secondary there, and to me, Vince Wilfork at the time, just plugging that that defensive line there. Linebackers were solid, and it's just to me, they're kind of coming around. So, and it's like now with, minus Revis, again, small guy, but big shoes to fill. So, I don't know. They got to know something that we don't know. And, of course, a lot of it has to do with money. That's the biggest issue. But who knows? I wish him success, with New York, even though I'm not a Jets fan. But, and again, the McCoy deal going to the Bills, and then you get Murray going to the Eagles. It's just nuts. I mean, this is some shocking things. And the biggest shocker to me is what you guys were talking about earlier too, the Jimmy Graham and the Max Unger deal. I don't know about that. I think what they're talking about is maybe getting more defense, because their defense was just pathetic. Last year, of course they were depleted at secondary. Losing guys left and right. So that's got to be the key, because how do you get rid of a big tight end? I mean, you have receivers, but a tight end is like your fifth or sixth guy, and also like a sixth offensive lineman. So there again, you had to be dealing with money and getting defense, even though his season last year wasn't that great either. But I don't know. There's got to be motives. And then, like I said, coaching wise, we've got a lot of different coaches. I hope these coaches get it together. I want to see competitive football again. I want to see defense. I want to see hard hitting. I don't want to see flags and penalty flags thrown for good defense. You reward good defense. Don't take it away. So, I mean, I could go on and on about this, but and then of course, let me go here real quick on an Indianapolis thing. Yeah, that's plus. It's going to be good that Luck has a good running back in Gore, but again, the team desperately needs defense. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know where they're going to go with that, but and then just let me hit this real quick, guys, and I'll get off. So I'm going on a tangent here, but. Again, with the Joe Montana football thing, I think that poses, a good threat to EA, a threat in a good way, to say, hey, look, if this stuff is true that was put out there on Outrageous Sports forums, look, we're serious. We're coming after you, and we're going to try to beat you, and that's what you want, and then which makes for good competition. And you know what? I was glad the young kid called, the 12-year-old, just calls ago. That's what I've been saying all along. I said, look. If a youngster like that is not even a teenager yet is saying, teach me football, I want to play football, I've been saying that for years. I said, look, if you don't know how to play football, don't just make it easier for them. Teach them. Learn how to play the sport. And that's what you want. And if you got someone that young calling and saying, yeah, I want to learn it too, well, there's more out there. So it's saying, hey, guys, get it together. We want football. Give us football. So, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that. It's got to be the same way, you know. But, yeah, I mean, it's nuts, man. But like I said, I want good football this year. You know, I really hope they come through. Joe Montana, great. And EA, great. I'll be more than happy to buy 2 games. But, you know, one might outplay the other, but so what? I mean, but give us football and you know, keep that, you know, keep the heat going, because you always got to say, someone's looking over my shoulder. Someone wants to beat me. It's like sports. Competition in sports. You don't want to get beat out of your position, even though you're getting older, but so it keeps you going. Kind of how I feel about, you know, with that. So I wish both games success, and, you know, I want to have fun. I want to see, you know, we put out videos there, say, hey, you know, this is great. You know, we're not exposing the problems. You know, again, like Smitty was saying, there's no perfect game, and there never, you know, won't be. There'll be exploits, but put out a lot of videos like, hey, did you see that catch? Look how he got in the position. Look, he didn't slide. Look, his hands went out. You know, his head was turning. He was, you know, ball tracking. You know, all the stuff that we need. Look at look how these guys are interacting without, you know, wonky animations and, you know, physics. Look how his weight is pushing him forward. You know, look at the pile. You know, stuff like that. Saying, you know, this is football. You know, this is what we want. So, you know, like I said, hey, if I got to spend more and buy 2 games, great. Because then I'll be harder to decide which one I want to play, but we get excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So yeah, man, like always, we definitely appreciate your call, man. We're right there with you, and you said so much that I agree with, but definitely like that last bit where, you know, that's what we want. You know, it's going to be so much more fun and enjoyable when I'm just making videos showing positive things. You know, I think back to when I used to do that with 2K8. And to be fair, you know, I pulled back on some of the flaws that was in that game because it was an old game. It was no longer in production. There's no point for me to always point out the flaws, but that was a time when I was trying to show EA, look, these are the things you need in your game. And that's the fun part about making videos, when we can show you, look at this. Look at what he's doing. Look at his footwork. Oh, my God, did you see that catch? Look at that tackle. You know, that to me is the fun part about making videos. I'm going to always break down the game and give feedback. But I want to get it to a point where we just, you know, enjoying watching YouTube videos of good football moments from whatever game it may be. So, yeah, I definitely, I'm there with you on that, man. You got anything on that, Smitty?
No, he basically hit all the points on that. And I mean, like you're saying, like, you know, from what I was saying before, the game, Madden is going to have flaws. Madden 16 is going to have flaws. But that's why I said before, when Montana 16 comes out, if that game is on consoles, the game ain't going to be flaw-free. So they better be getting the flaws dug right into it, talking about what issues it has. You see what I'm saying? And like that's like bringing the whole Nike example, like having the one shoe. You know, if you only got one kind of shoe available, it's gonna feel a certain way. It's gonna fit a certain way. When you run with it, it's gonna feel a certain way. That's like pointing out problems or pointing out legacy issues and stuff like that. People, you know, it's so easy to hang your hat on legacy problems, but what about what the game is actually doing though? You see what I'm saying? Like, I can easily pull up an issue in NBA 2. I can pull up a gameplay issue in NFL 2K5 that exists in NBA 2K15. See what I'm saying? So what does that mean? Does that mean they haven't innovated? Does that mean they don't care to fix the problems that the community has been saying to fix? Like, see, that's what I'm saying. It's too easy to do that. But we're going to talk about that, though, soon, though. But I'm just saying, like, we got to take the games for what they are, because we can't sit up here in front like nothing fundamental is happening in Madden. No one is saying, and if you point that out, that means that all of a sudden you're just accepting. Like, no, you're not saying you're accepting. You're just calling a spade a spade. This is stuff that we demanded for, and guess what? It's happening in EA's product. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I'll tell a little story about it, but we'll you know, there's something I want to tell in detail, but I'll wait until we get later on into the segment, and I'll get into that. Because I know we got 205 shows, so I want to get him in here.
Yeah, what we definitely do, guys, grab 205 because, just want to grab everybody who was in and during that moment when Smitty had to step out, so I want to make sure we get all those guys in. And after that, we'll run into the topics, try to keep it brief, and then we'll grab any calls that will come after that. I do see 337. I see you in the queue, man, so if you could just bear with us, because normally, I know normally we do the calls in the second hour, so we did it a little different tonight. So if you could just bear with us after 205, we'll run into the topics a bit. Then we'll be, you'll be the first one we grab after that. All right, so 205, man. Before I even bring you in, I'm sorry, man. That's all I can say. Let me get you in, man. But I'm very sorry, 205, man. How you doing? How you doing tonight, man?
I'm ready to jump off a bridge. No, I'm just playing. I'm all right. I'll be okay. It'll be okay if we get AP, but that's all I gotta say.
Hey, man. Hey, remember when I said that a few weeks back? I said it. I hope it comes true for you guys, man, because I would love to see my boy AP running behind a nice line. So we'll see.
I just want to talk a little bit about the Joe Montana 16. I was doing a little research. I have to bring up DJ. He was telling me that that he remembers them Damon Grove putting up a picture of a studio in San Diego. Well, Microsoft has a studio for building games in San Diego, and he was pointing that out. They also have a mobile gaming division over in San Francisco, which I just found this out today. And I heard Damon Grove saying that he was mostly working on mobile gaming. And so to have a mobile gaming studio in San Francisco and Microsoft owns it, that right there to me really has me wondering if this all ain't just true. Because you have Joe Montana using Xbox products, Microsoft products. He's really basically into the NFL. The NFL, if you go back to VS Timeline where they talk about the NFL and Xbox having, their own standalone contract, and the console is basically the NFL's main console, and it pushed out EA's product just the last 2 years on its own, being an NFL product. You don't think they wouldn't do the same thing for Joe Montana? As big of a star as he is, also with the legacy he brings and everything that he also had to do with EA also. So to go back to all that, I just want to know what y'all think about that. If, all this just seems to be adding up. Plus last week I put on Twitter that if you're going to drop some news within 3 to 4 weeks of July, the middle of late July, that timeline falls at E3 time, because E3 also falls in middle of June, around the 16th or the 18th. And if that game falls the middle and late of July, that's around the 18th, the 20th or so on right there. So that's 4 weeks out. Just want to know what y'all think about that. That's just some thoughts I've been seeing and looking up with all the things that Microsoft also mentioned last year that they was going to work on their own sports IPs. They've been talking about that since the year before the Xbox launched at E3, when the whole Xbox and PS4 fight began before the consoles ever came out. They was talking about having their own development team set up, ready to put out their own, sports games, own IPs, and they was really going to get into pushing for exclusive games. Because, Sony was beating them in exclusives, so they was going to get up there on that same level. I just kind of want to know what y'all think about all those questions and kind of how y'all feel about where I'm coming from. Y'all have a great night, man. Keep up the great work. Peace.
Yeah, man. I almost feel like sometimes it's pointless to say thank you. You know how we feel, so it's almost like we don't even have to give you a reply, man. You're a home resident here on the show, so yeah. And I'll start it off, man. Listen, the dots are out there, and you can connect those dots. Now, the only thing that's left is we don't know if those dots connect to be anything. And I don't know if I just used the right form of English there, but what I'm trying to say is everything is there, but we don't know if what is there is actually going to lead up to something. But it's there. That the post that guy put up, I mean, I think I said it last week, but as I was reading it, I was like, my God, everything this guy is saying, I can pretty much see that happening. I don't know if it's true or not. All I do know is what that guy was saying made a lot of sense to me. And like you just said, when you start connecting old dots from old things that we heard from Microsoft and the information that Virtual dropped on us last week about Joe Montana when he came out, doing the Xbox Glass or whatever that thing is called, all of this, everything is just lining up. Now we just need the confirmation. And the only thing that we don't know that's true, with the subjective part of the post, the opinionated stuff, all of that is still going to be left to opinion, because you can't rely on that. And I'm not knocking this guy, whoever made the post. So if you're listening to us, I hope you are. No, I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying, you saying that it blows away Madden and this and that, that's opinion-based. I hope so, but we'll still have to determine those things. But other than that, there's a lot of factual stuff in theory that's out there that makes us all believe that, hey, this game may be for real and it may be exactly what was stated. Console, being Xbox One, being exclusive, and then also being available on PC. Would be great. What you think, Smitty?
Now, I mean, like we said before, it definitely would help in regards of the competition landscape. I mean, look, if all the dots are out there to be connected, like you said. There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle here. And the thing is, first, it was just a lot of speculation. Is this game on tablet? Is this game on console? Is it on PC only? All that. But now, even with, from the tweets that have been coming out over time to the posting on OS, there's some weight. Like, there are some weighted points you could put on it. That's why I call it, I call it weighted speculation, because it's not just blind hope really on some of these things out here. Like, there's legitimacy to some of the things. Like, you can piece together timelines based off of what actually is out there and be like, hey, this may actually be, this part makes sense. So this may actually hold true. Xbox being the official console of the NFL, Microsoft, it costs it costs a hefty penny to get in on that license. It's Microsoft, those dudes got mad money, so yeah, they can get in on this. So it's a lot of stuff to really think about and consider. And guys putting out information, like dudes are still tweeting more and more information about studios, like the studio that was in England that Damon posted a shot of. Somebody found information about that even and said they were working on a AAA American football title. So it's like there's a lot of speculation, but the cool thing I like about this is the interactivity that it's bringing amongst the community. And like I said before, at the end of the day, it's not about having one title. I mean, people out here for one title. Like I thought we were upset about it being a monopoly and there only being just one game. So why would I want there to be at the end of the game one game? You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, I don't want just one title. I want there to be two titles, but I want there to be two good quality titles that are going to progressively compete against each other and build each other up. Because, like I said before, say it again, I could keep saying it. At the end of the day, they compete, we win. So I don't see what we're losing. You know what I'm saying? The football gaming community wouldn't be losing. We're only winning. So that's it, because they're going to push each other. So, hey, I'm all for it.
Yeah, man. I mean, we can't lose. We cannot lose in this situation. And, let's go ahead and jump into pretty much the last topic, man. Try to knock it out. We got about 44 minutes because I do see, of course, we got to get 337 in after that. And there's 3 other callers who are in the queue that haven't pressed 1 yet. So in case they press 1, we want to leave some time for that. We could probably run these 2 topics together, the community members' comprehension and pointing out the flaws. And I'll definitely let Smitty take the lead on the flaws because I know he has a story that he wants to tell on that. But just to be brief, it's funny, man. It's like we say this over and over again, and I think it's worth saying because we're always receiving new callers and new listeners, and we appreciate all of you guys for that. But sometimes I feel like not all of the community members are really comprehending what's going on. And I'm talking about with us, the information that we try to relay and give and why we do certain things. Because you continue to hear these comments from some people that sometimes they throw Azure in there as well. All they do is defend Madden, which to me is hilarious because I would love to know how I'm defending Madden. And more importantly, we have told you guys several times, we deal with a group of developers who are on the same page with us. They have ideas that some of us haven't even thought about. So if you read between the lines, what needs to happen is we need to keep pushing and force the culture at EA Sports, as far as these decision makers, to keep leaning in our direction. I'll tell you something real quick, and I don't think there's a problem with me sharing this. One time, Rex Dixon told me and Smitty, hey guys, I want you to always remember that the success of Madden 15 is because of you guys. And guys like you that helped us to take more chances and to do the things that we want to do as far as pushing the game into that simulation, teaching football, getting away from the exploits. You've heard him say it 1,000 times himself. Getting away from just the stick skills and all of that. And the success helps. That's why we keep telling you guys over and over, we need the sim community to be bigger because we have to make sure we are influencing the game the way we want it and showing them that this works, this sells. Because the people at the top, that's all they care about. Let's just keep it honest. Why people always running around pointing the finger at this company and that company and that company. At the end of the day, a company is about business. We're seeing it as we look at free agency. Darrelle Revis is a business. This man has pulled off. He's earned, $80-something million guaranteed money. And now it's in the hundreds. How has he been able to do this? This dude, the last 3 years, he seems to always get buku money and be a free agent. It's a business. It's a business, folks. This is why he didn't stay with New England, of course, to win a ring. He got his ring last year. You know what Revis is thinking about? I think he's 30 right now. He's going to turn 30 pretty soon. He's thinking, you know what, man? In my position, this day and age, this is probably my last big payday. It's a business. So as much as we complain and moan and push, we want this, we want that, we always have to keep that in mind. The difference is, like Smitty would always say, 2K, on the other hand, from day one, they've been about details. They have the right idea. And it worked for them. They never quite outsold Madden, but I think they would have kept making games. Because 2K5 and Madden 05, they weren't even, but they did pretty well. I think they both could exist and they would be just fine. They would make money, Madden would make money. And other games followed that model. Another thing Smitty has pointed out to us here on the show, FIFA wasn't always focused on simulation. As soon as they did it, through the roof. You see what I'm saying? That's why the football community, you guys have to understand what we're doing. instead of you wasting your energy saying that we're defending this and we're defending that and we did this and we sold out, y'all ain't seeing what we doing. Find more gamers or game changers or whatever. And this is, again, I love my guys in the program. Everybody has their own agenda. No knock on these guys, because they don't have to do this. But that's the question you have to ask yourself. Who else do you know in the community give it to you like we do? Who? Point them out. Who put you on game like we do? And we don't have to. And it's for us, the community. We are a community. This is who we care about. So it just makes me laugh to see when people try to pick fun. I ain't saying you got to agree with me. I'm just saying, for you to go as far as saying, man, all he doing is this. How? When on this show, all we talk about is things that they need, and we want competition. So how are we defending them?
Right.
I can't get it. I did a live stream the other day. The dude in there, he going back and forth with me about that, and then he finally says, and again, I ain't picking on you, but I call it like it is. It's my personality. I'm just going to kick it to you real. He goes on to say, no, I'm with you. You just come across like you always defend. How you with me, but you won't agree with what I'm saying? That don't even make sense. Let's think about that for a second. How are you with me? But then on one hand, you're like, man, this dude felt. Why you rocking with me then? Because if I felt like that about anybody, I ain't fooling with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't fooling with you. If it's something about you I ain't feeling, we could be cordial, but I'm good. Same reason why you guys notice I don't talk to some of these people in the community. I ain't feeling them. Because of what they've done in the past or what they might be currently doing. I don't need you. Now, we can fight the same fight, but you're good. Just stay over there. I'm over here. I'm good. I don't need you. I don't need to talk to you. I don't need to watch a video. I don't need you on mine. I'm good. But I didn't want to take too much time there, man. I'm going to let Smitty take over because I think he can kind of tie these two topics together. So, definitely give us your thoughts, man, and go ahead and tell us that story you got for us.
All right. Well, what I'll, first of all, from what you're saying from a comprehensive standpoint, I mean, if we're defending EA, then I guess we got a lot of people that are protecting 2K. If we're going to use that same, if we're going to use that intellectual standpoint, come on, people, seriously. We can't use that kind of standpoint and be realistic and say, I'm unbiased. I'm not biased. I'm that's why I catch people like that, people that always want to engage that way. It's so easy to get them wrapped up in it because they over pursue their own point. You know what I'm saying? They'll call themselves out within their own bias. I had a guy the other day I was on Twitter with. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, he's a cool guy, but he's upset with Madden. But he said Madden is the exact same game. He said there's problems with the AI. He said the AI is the same. It doesn't replicate football, blah, blah, blah. So I just asked him straight up. So you're telling me so you're saying that Madden 15, the AI has not improved at all from back then to now? Then he said yes. So I'm like, so wait a minute. You said it plays the exact same. You said it doesn't replicate football, but yet the AI improved. You see what I mean? So it's so how can the game improve in terms of AI and in terms of showcasing football when you said it doesn't do it? You know what I'm saying? So it's when I see comments on Sim's video where he shows an example of something done right in Madden, people either will nitpick it down and act like, oh, that's not football, or they'll act like, oh, that's very rare that it happens versus other games. That's just not true. A lot of Sim, the thing Sim says, he says, yo, I love this play in particular, but I want the game to play more like this play. That's not saying it doesn't happen more often than the example he shows. It does. All you got to do is go to Twitch. You can see anyone's live stream, and you easily will see a lot of football happen in these games. Even dudes that do YouTube videos, it's easy to see pockets form. It's easy to see holes formed fundamentally. It's easy to see the running back push off of his lineman and go around accordingly like he should. It's easy to see wide receivers get position at times and go and attack the ball accordingly in terms of where the positioning is. It's easy to see DBs, linebackers, safeties accordingly. Look at the receiver, look at the ball, watch the QB, ball gets thrown, they track it accordingly and make a play on it. It's easy to see those kind of plays happen. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, none of that stuff gets shown. All that you see is just the top 10 plays in Madden and flawed breakdowns and everything, and that's it. So, of course, the legacy is, it's just the quote-unquote same game when it isn't. Like, especially from this team. Now, I'm going from this team here. You know what I'm saying? So, from what Sim's point is, and going into this point, it's as if people don't want to, like I remember people saying that the Sim community is dying and it's fell off or it's gotten quiet. There's a reason why it's gotten quiet. Because the game is getting better. But people don't want to acknowledge that. People want to do that on the low. They want to riot and shout that Madden's the same game, but on the low they want to tell you that Madden's good. Trust me, there are people that I've been in chats with that are on YouTube right now commenting on vids, making vids, saying Madden sucks, but real talk, catch them in the chat, Madden's on point, and I'll come from their mouth. You see what I'm saying? Madden 15 is pretty good this year, but the videos, you see what I'm saying? You would think differently because of videos. So that's why I'm like, that's why it's laughable. Because we said we wanted these devs, and I'm gonna segue from this into the next topic, like Sim was saying. People said that they wanted in out. They wanted football guys in there. There's more football guys in that studio now than you know of. You just know of the few guys on the surface. You heard of Rex. You heard of when he was there. You heard of Clint. But there's more football guys there. They just ain't sitting on camera talking to you. You see what I'm saying? But they got football guys in there. Cam Weber is a football player. Rex is a football player. Clint obviously is a football player. Like there's other dudes too that are on the staff that are working on this game that are from former football players. Now, they may not have made it to the NFL or what have you, but these guys they have playing history. So you have more of those knowledgeable guys, which this community said over and over again years ago needed to happen. It's happening. But the thing is, they got to build the game up, and it's going to take time to do that. I made this point back then. I'll make it again here. 2K football, NFL 2K5. That game took at least 6 years of consistent development. Greg Thomas, the guy that's the CEO of Visual Concepts now, that guy was executive producer. He was the lead producer over every single 2K game that ever came out. So they had to build an engine. If you go back from building an engine to conceptualization to putting out a product, you're talking about at least 8 years. I would say at least 6 to 8 years. Well, I would say 7 to 8 years of production work, of conceptualization and production work to get you 2K5. These dudes been together. This will be their 4th game together. And we're sitting here saying, they should have it now. No, they're not going to have it all in one shot. That's just not realistic thinking. And even though we're mad at, we're upset at the whole legacy of everything, because of 2005 and what happened from there, we're upset with that. There's no going around it. But I'm talking about what's going on today. We made YouTube videos and ranted and raved because we wanted change, because of what was happening. Now that shit is being corrected, and folk want to act like it's 2005 again. No, it's a different day, it's a different age, and people got to start comprehending that. If you don't want to comprehend it, just like I said before, I'll tell you right again. Don't buy Madden 16. Don't buy any Madden titles. Don't even rent it. You know what I'm saying? Don't talk about it. Just leave it alone. Play whatever game it is you want to play. If you feel Joe Montana 16 is your savior, play that. Knock yourself out and have a great time. But just bear in mind, that game is going to have flaws. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to segue into the next point with that point right there. How easy it is. It's extremely easy to showcase these games as broken. It's easy to classify them. Just like I was saying, to the youngsters, like when the youngster called in earlier, 12-year-old, it's no different. APF has tons of flaws, just like Madden does. People act like APF is impossible to showcase what's wrong. No, there's a lot wrong in that game. For the good it has, it's easy to showcase the wrong. And the reason why I bring this up, just in case people think that's unbelievable, go back and find a channel for somebody that was posting videos back then, Versus. Go to his original channel, Versus 2. Look it up on YouTube. Check out some of those vids. Check out the videos where he talked about APF, where he talked about Backbreaker and the problems there, where he talked about the problems in Madden, Live, 2K basketball. Look at the comment sections on those videos. Listen to and pay attention to what people were saying. You had people mad at dudes because they recommended to buy Backbreaker. You had people say Backbreaker was trash, it was terrible, it was all these things. Oh my gosh, look at that interaction, that makes no sense. That's got nothing to do with football. All of that was said about Backbreaker. But you got dudes today saying Backbreaker has more football than Madden ever had. So you see what I mean? It's easy to showcase it. Like you'll have a video of somebody showcase a positive play in Backbreaker, and all of a sudden it could do everything. But you showcase a negative play in Backbreaker, and all of a sudden the game's trash truck juice. See, that's the same scale that happens with Madden, with Live, with FIFA, with PES, with APF, with 2K basketball, with the show. It's no different there either. That's why I said I could easily pull up games where, I have a good library of these older titles. I can pull up some of these old games and I can literally show you problems that happen in old 2K football that happen. I could pull up an issue in NFL 2K4 that happens in NBA 2K15 today. So what does that mean? So two console generations in all those years, you telling me that they still ain't got it right? But the engine is so stupendous that 2K has, but they can't fix these problems. Sim even showing you a video of APF where we talk about it in Madden all the time. Play DBs covering grass on zone coverage. Same exact thing happens in the APF. They stand there. They don't do jack. If the receiver runs past the zone, that's it. They just stand there and cover grass. They don't move. They don't say, oh, snap, I'm the only line of defense. Let me get back. No, they just stand there. But people are saying, play that. See what I mean? It's easy. And like Sim said, the reason why the community overall, why we haven't talked about APF and why we haven't broke down 2K5 and all that, is because those games are out of print. But if we knew 2K was pumping out a new football game, if we knew this publicly already, we'd all be putting videos up saying, y'all gotta, like, it would be comical at the same time because you would see a slew of flaw videos from using APF. Have this happen in your game. Don't have these things happen. All of a sudden, APF has got all these issues, but it's so great though. See what I'm saying? So don't get it twisted for 1 second. When you hear myself, Sim, point out problems in this game or showcase something done right in the game, Sim uploads straight up gameplay. And like I said, I go through, there are people that I'm sub to that do recaps and commentaries over their own gameplay. It's not hard to see that Madden has improved in terms of what this community wanted. We're not saying that the game is perfect because, please, it's easy for me to show you how, like, I love basketball. I could easily show you how 2K is rendered unplayable for me at times because of the exact same problems that haven't been fixed for years. But I still enjoy the game. I don't have to hate it to talk negative about it, or I don't have to talk about it with a negative undertone. It's just that I want the best game possible. If I'm going to get the best game possible, how am I going to actually get it if I'm not up here talking about it? Like, you got to give some kind of reinforcement. I got to be Kevin Garnett going up to Glenn Davis, and I got to make him cry. You know what I'm saying? I got to make him cry on the bench. It's the same treatment. It ain't no different. That don't mean I don't care for him. That don't mean I don't want him to help me win games. I'm like, yo, I got to dig into this cat because I expect better. If you're the best, you said, like, and I'm going to end it with this, I'll pass it to Sim. Ronnie 2K and LD2K sat up there on their live stream before 2K15 came out, and they said, oh, man, you ain't got to worry about my player touching 90, man. Holla at me in about 6-7 months, and then maybe you'll be touching 90. Less than 72 hours after the game was out, my man Lob Mob, shout out to him, posting screenshots. Dude's already 90 overall in the park. Less than 72 hours of the game being brand new release. So, see, that's what I'm saying. If you ain't living up, like, see, that's the kind of stuff that we would throw tomatoes and eggs and everything else at Madden for. But then when 2K does it, oh, man, the game's outstanding. It's phenomenal. No, man, you just ain't seeing it. No, I see it very clearly. That's why these things are problems, and if we're going to call a spade, do it across the whole board. That's why we formed SimStandard. That's what SimStandard was about. It wasn't about praising one company and knocking down another. It's about setting a standard based off of the actions by people at one company. So we're going to set a standard not just for EA, but for everybody. And that's the whole point. That's why we do what we do. That's why we talk about these games the way we do, regardless if people like it or not. Bottom line. So I'll throw it to Sim.
Man, Smitty covered everything. I mean, nothing I could follow up with that other than the fact that, like he said, it's so easy. Look at some of my live gameplay. You don't see it? Look at my league game. In them live streams, I'm complaining almost the whole time, but I still enjoy the game. But that game has numerous flaws. All games have flaws, and I guarantee you, I'm going to say it right now. Let's say Joe Montana comes out, and it's exactly what they said it's going to be. I can almost guarantee you right now that I will have videos showing you a flaw. That's what we do. I will have a video and be like, yeah, this ain't right here. But I bet you, on the other hand, I'll be like, yo, this game is amazing, though. And what we're trying to say is, we don't care if you like Madden, if you like 2K, if you like FIFA, who cares? But I just don't understand why people can't clearly see why we doing this, man. I wanted this type of interaction with somebody who had the inside information. And now that we're doing it, it's hilarious. It's hilarious to see how some people treat it. It's funny. You're missing out. But we're going to definitely grab 337, man. He's held on for a long time. And before I grab him, though, let me say this real quick. Because I saw earlier that somebody said to me, I think a day or so ago, they asked, I heard it was other members of the SimStandard and you guys have changed and what happened. Now I'm going to keep this very short and sweet. I don't expect everybody to know the history and all of that. Some of you guys are new to us or what have you. But I bet you what you will find out is everybody who was in the SimStandard, they left the SimStandard. So you should ask them what happened. Don't ask me. They left. All of those members, they left on their own merit. Some left, came back, and then left again. So why don't you ask them? Because apparently some of these guys will walk around saying, we was in the SimStandard. Bruh, why'd you leave? And I'm just saying that just in case, but it would appear that somebody or somebody is out there saying we were the originators, we used to be. Okay, you're right. But what happened? Tell the rest of the history. What happened? Why aren't you no longer there? I don't think any of those dudes could come up and say, oh, they kicked me out. No. History don't lie. Those videos are still up there. But anyway, let's grab 337, man.
Before you do,
yes.
Hold on. Before you do, one other thing to add on to that. Familiar folks, familiar personalities that were on SimStandard had a chance to come to the studio, came back and said, these devs are going to get it done. They didn't say they might get it done. They said they are going to get it done. They said it's going to take time to get it done, and it's not going to happen. But it's not going to happen at the speed we want. But and they out here making videos bashing Madden and everything and questioning the devs of. Just saying. So just wanted to put that out there. And the video's out there, so this ain't no fabricated information and everything like that. It's all out there. You can see for yourself. But I'm just saying, like you said, don't question us. Question the people. Because we do this show live every week. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to call in and ask, okay, fine. But in turn, why aren't you asking the people? You know what I'm saying?
Ask the people, man.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Ask the people. Well, yeah, man. Let's bring that guy on in here, man. 337 called numerous times, and we got you in live, man. We apologize for all the waiting, man. We appreciate you hanging on, man. What you got for us tonight?
Man, it's all good, man. I just want to say, don't butcher the smart glass by Microsoft film. Talking about the Xbox glass. Anyway.
I don't know what they call it, man. I didn't know what they call it.
Anyway, what's going on is, I hear you guys about getting a sim football standard, and what I want is out of Madden or any game is that the pros themselves can take the game and to be simulated, like a simulated practice or a simulated actual like a driving simulation for that DMV used for driving tests. I want it to be that close. That's what, and I think that's what you guys are pushing for. You guys are pushing for replication, and I agree to the fullest, man. That's what I'm looking for too. But at the same time, I'm pretty much content with Madden and how it's going. I think it's progressed at least since 2013. I think the AI was a little broken on 2013 and 25, but 15 made a big step. And Phil Spencer said, whoever head of Microsoft, EA, whoever's head of EA said that they were going to progress in 3 years in the game. So I think they did what they said they were going to do. So I don't know why anybody's complaining. I mean, they lived up to what their word was, and they did it. And I think Madden is a good game, but I think the stuff you guys want in there, like DB, wide receiver DB interactions, definitely has to be in the game. Linebackers and people covering grass, that has to be taken out of the game. I mean, I want people constantly moving. I mean, there's been plenty of times where people getting yards and computers getting yards because my guy's just standing there covering grass. And I'm like, why would a computer, when I'm playing against a computer, and I try to throw over the middle, their linebackers is shifting back and forth, but when my team is on defense, they're just covering grass, and I think they need to even it out a little bit, man. I mean, there's a lot of cheese still going on, but for the most part, I think Madden and Joe Montana, if it does come out, I think I'll get both of them, man, just because even though I like Madden, I think a change would be good, and I think I would both of them. I mean, I would support both games because you never know what EA is going to come up with. One of these days they might just break through and just knock everybody on their butts. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know because they got the potential. But that's all I want to say about that. I'll be listening in. Y'all have a good night.
All right, man.
Appreciate you calling, man. We definitely appreciate that and correcting me on that that name there. Look, you corrected it, and I still don't. Oh, Smart Glass. I still couldn't remember what it was. But yeah, man, I think this is an easy one. Both me and Smitty can give you a response here. Man, listen, I know people, and we share the same frustration, and they didn't necessarily. I'm going to try to break this down for you guys real quick in a way that you can kind of understand what I'm saying and just read between some of the lines. You notice how we always say the developers want what we want. Keep that statement in mind. Now, let's think back to that E3 when Andrew Wilson was on stage. And shout out to him because like Rex said, this guy's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes, stuff that we can't talk about, but he's definitely He's definitely getting on the same boat, and he's on the same train with the devs. And this is why we tell you guys, you're probably going to start seeing the game continue to go in the direction that we wanted to go in. But what I do criticize, and I've even said this when I was at EA, that year when he was at E3, this was, 2 years ago, because it wasn't last year, because me and Smitty was at E3 last year. When he stood up there, they was talking about the Ignite engine, and they showed us the trailers and letting us know that, what the games will be able to do. They'll be able to think like humans and move like humans and all of this type of stuff and living worlds. Truth be told, what wasn't said was how much time it's going to take to get there. Because I, just like everyone else, I was assuming, whoa, Madden 25. And I know, I'm not naive. I didn't think it was going to be fully there. But he definitely advertised it as if we were going to see this in Madden 25. And even if Living Worlds wasn't all the way there or True Step wasn't all the way there and all of that, I still expected to see more of it in Madden 25. Because honestly, I thought Madden 25 would have been a new thing. I understand porting and all of that. True. We said that thousands of times here on the show. To some degree, most companies do port over because that's how you save what you got. It's a smart thing to do. But I did think we would see more of the new change in 25, and we really didn't. And even still, Living World still doesn't look like what we would expect. And this is why I think that a lot of the people are saying they lied. I fully agree with you on that. So for the record, when you guys will listen to the show, who oppose what I say, you hear me say it right there. I fully agree with that statement, and I understand why you would say they lied, because we feel the same way. And I told those guys at their office, like, hey, man, marketing, you got us. You got us, because it definitely ain't what y'all advertise. But at the same time, like my man just said, you should be able to see the progression, and everything that they said they were doing gameplay-wise is there. Might not be 100%. We know that. It might need, still need some refinement. We definitely know that. They still need to remove a few things and add more things, definitely. But for the most part, what they talked about for 25 and 15, it's in the game. Now it's about continuing to build on that, improving and cleaning up everything that's already there, and still adding those more components that we want to see. What you got, Smitty?
Yeah, this is, and I didn't tell it before, but I'm going to tell this story real quickly here. And this goes along with what you're saying based off of what, 337 was talking about. When Azura went down to EA back in 2012 and came back, he was like, man, you know what? They got some things in store, man. I'm telling you, they got some good stuff in store. I couldn't believe it. I didn't believe it. I believed Azura, but I couldn't believe it because it was EA. You see what I'm saying? That's why I understand why people react the way they do towards that. Man, they lying. Man, they full of it. Man, they ain't never gonna get it right. We ain't never gonna have a Sim football game, like all that. I understand that because I felt the exact same way. And I was feeling that way. So I'm like, Madden 12 was a little something, but I was like, man, I don't know if they're going to actually go that route. But it's like, I don't want to doubt my dude. Like, I know AZ ain't going to lie to me, man. I'm like, he ain't lying. I'm like, I know he ain't lying, but it's EA, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is EA that be playing, they be shooting moves on us. So I'm like, I know this can't be right. But then, fast forward, he got to go down to the studio again, didn't say anything about, this is about that, the Infinity Engine and everything. This was before he was like, yo, like, trust me, this you wait to see. And I'm like, man, come on, dude. This is EA, man. And like I said, still in the back of my mind, I still had that doubt, but it's like, but I trust Azura. It's not that I don't want to trust him. Like, I do trust him. But I just know EA, they be shooting these moves over time, and I just can't really hang on to it. But then, when we seen that Infinity Engine, and we seen it actually play out, for folks that remember the video on Sin Standard, where we all reacted to it, it was like, wow, these dudes really did come with something. You had the passing, you had the read and react, you had the Infinity Engine in there. We was like we were all like, oh, okay, all right. Yeah, they're trying to make moves now. And, you know, we were shocked because I'm like, usually they ain't even trying to do that. So when we got to go down to the studio, then that's when we really understood. Because we came down to the studio and found out, like, we got to, I mean, it's safe to say now, but back then we went down to EA, came back, did a bit on Sin Standard. Good number of people liked it. Good number of people had problems with it. The crazy thing is, when we was down there, we got to play Madden 25 from the bare bones scratch part as far as the run animation. We got to test that. Like, it was just a player model on a 3D grid, and that's all we got to mess with. But when we got to play that, they took us upstairs to play that, and then we went back downstairs to play Madden 13, and we like, man, like, I felt robbed, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I want to play Madden 25 now. I want to play the next joint, you know, which we were thinking it was going to be Madden 14 at that point. But I'm like, I want to play that. Like, I didn't even want to play 13 based off of that because of just that running. So this is what I'm saying. When we get to hear things and learn things and understand, along with that kind of stuff, we get to learn what's going on. And that's what, like Sim said, we share this stuff with you guys. Like, we can't, you know, just tell straight up, but we hit at things. Like Sim said, these devs want what we want. They do. We've been saying it for years. But the thing is, it's going to take time. And that's why I find it so funny when certain folks, these people follow, they seem to have forgotten that when those folks got to go down to EA, they was talking the same way we were. They didn't say anything different. They said the same thing out of their own mouth. No one made them. No one threatened them. So that's why it's funny to me to still see, you know, to see the emphasis being made that, you know, oh, these devs, man, they ain't trying to do with this, and Sim football ain't ever going to happen. Look, Madden 15 has sold over 5 million copies thus far. Usually they cap out for the whole year around 5, at least according to VG charts. You know, that doesn't give the total number, but it gives you a good idea in terms of the sales. They're already well over 5 million in terms of units out. So if we're looking at that, if we're looking at the full picture here, it's not just selling because of Ultimate Team. It's not just selling because of that. There's a reason why this game is moving more and more units now. It's because the gameplay quality is stepping up. That plays a role in it. And the more it steps up, I'm telling you, that's why if you pay attention to what Rex said when he called in, he said, we feel we got our feet up underneath us. Pay attention to that because these dudes come through. Okay. I would love to see how people going to be about it. So we're going to see in due time. I mean, E3 is a few months away. So we'll find out. You know, we all going to find out what the deal is. We'll find out about Joe Montana, and we're going to find out about, you know, Madden as well. We'll know what's up with Madden 16. Because if we go by the way 2K does their slates when it comes to releasing games, that marketing period makes perfect sense because that's the exact same thing they do with 2K. They usually hit you with the media buzz like maybe a month before. Like a good month before the game drops.
Oh,
and that's do a little teasing in there. So. Yeah, because that's what they did. Because what did we get for 2K15? We got that one teaser trailer during the finals. That was all you had for months. And then it wasn't until like September where you really got hit with the media buzz. Like that's when they really hit you with the media blitz. So it's no different. So if they're coming with it in June, around that June area, yeah, I'm not the least bit shocked at all. That's when it's gonna happen. So we'll see. You know, all cards are gonna be on the table at some point. So we're gonna find out what the deal is, relatively soon. So we'll see.
And if they drop one of those trailers for a new football game, it is a wrap.
Yep.
But, man, we actually got a caller. We have 843 on the line, man. We got 4 minutes. So we hate to do this to you, but you have to keep it real short so so you won't get cut off. So we got you on now. 843, what's going on, man?
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm good. Just got a quick question. I know I got on the show kind of late. But remember back in, I think it was E3 a couple of years ago when they revealed Madden 25 and they showed RG3, scanning the field, and then he took off and everything and Marshawn Lynch running. Did you guys ever play that version? Did you guys, like, when y'all go down to the, the community days, did y'all actually play that version of the game, or was that just a trailer?
Man, we ain't play that. we have not seen that, and like I said, I don't think we can get in trouble by saying that. I will say this though, it was, to my knowledge, it was gameplay. Not that first one though. The RG3 one, that very first one, I think for 25, if I'm not mistaken, Smitty, that first one was a CG. That wasn't gameplay. But the second one
that one definitely was CG. Yeah, I'm talking about the one where it was a month after. That one was in May, and then the one I'm talking about is when you had Russell Wilson running down the sideline and jump to the end zone. John.
That was gameplay. That was gameplay. Yeah, that was gameplay.
Okay, because I look at that trailer. And I look at Madden 15, and, I look at RG3, and he doesn't do that, scanning the field, looking, that's what I'm anticipating what's going to come next with Madden, where, the players are going to be scanning the field, the players are going to have personality. Y'all said y'all played that, y'all played that, what was shown back then?
We played a version of the game, and we're going to go ahead and mute you real quick because we only got about 1 minute and 55 seconds, but I know you're still on listening. Pretty much what you see in 15, this is what we think. We can't confirm it, but I think Madden 15 is actually the gameplay that we saw then. From my experience, I don't recall playing nothing that was quite like that in 25, and I agree with you. I still have yet to play a Madden on this generation that they scan the field and stuff like that. So I don't know what the deal is with that. We've asked about that, and actually, man, I might make another video about that. I'm glad you brought that up, just to kind of re-advise that. Like, hey, where's this at? When are we going to see this? So that's a good point. Appreciate you calling on that, but I haven't played anything, that's come out or even behind the scenes that I saw that type of behavior. Smitty?
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, the first clip that we played was gameplay, but it wasn't. Like I said, it wasn't that flush out of a version, so we don't know. See, we don't. That's the problem when you're playing different versions of the game. It's hard to truly confirm because that could have been one version versus another version. You see what I mean? So it's like that's the whole thing when it comes to testing and playing these games. It's one thing can have a lot, another one can be lacking a lot. So it's hard to call.
Yeah. And sometimes things may get scaled up or scaled back. It's a lot of factors, man. And maybe when we get a little more permission, I guess you would say, maybe we'll have a show like that to kind of explain the process. But that will definitely be contingent on what we can say. But 10 seconds left, guys. We just want to go ahead and sign off. We thank everybody for tuning in and hanging in there with us tonight. Like always, we'll be back next Thursday night with another great show. All right, appreciate it again. Peace.
Peace.
Don't forget, guys, every Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sim Standard Radio. If you want to reach us, you can give us a call at 914-338-0794. For more content, click the link above.